It's a hot Sunday afternoon at Walthamstow Assembly Hall, and the South West Essex Choir are fine-tuning the 13 movements of the African Sanctus. David Fanshawe composed the work after making a journey along the River Nile in 1969. The movements are inspired by his experiences, tribal dances, cattle herdsmen, the beautiful rivers, and most importantly, the music he heard and recorded on a tape recorder, later transferred to CD and used in this performance here in Walthamstow. David told me that the idea for this work, to unite cultures and people through music, came about during an earlier trip to Jerusalem in 1966.
I was attending Mass and I heard the choir in St George's Cathedral, the Anglican Cathedral in Jerusalem, singing Kyrie eleison. And from outside the building came the sounds of the muezzin. Or more correctly, it should be called the azan, the call to prayer. The Christians were praying in their cathedral, and the Muslims were going to the mosque, and neither the Christians nor the Muslims were listening to the inherent harmony that music can make. I heard sort of Kyrie eleison, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah from outside the building. All the imams were reciting the call, the midday prayers, and the Christians were praying, and I thought, gosh, if I could travel with a tape recorder and record those things that I never heard myself before and compose the liturgy to the tapes, we would have a work. And that's exactly what we're doing here in Walthamstow, combining the two faiths, the Muslims and the Christians, throughout the composition.
David's Christianity is very much reflected in this work and inspired his symbolic cross-shaped journey along the Nile.
My faith was behind me always. I am a Christian, but I'm a Christian who travels with a tape recorder. And I believe in the one God, and I believe in the synergy between the faiths, interfaith, that we can listen to each other and learn from each other and respect one another's music. And the more I travelled up the River Nile, the more I heard not just the religious music, but the secular music, wedding dances and all kinds of celebrations that were happening. As I travelled south, the people changed from North Africa to Africans in Uganda who are predominantly Christians, so Christians meet Christians.
The choir aren't accompanied by a traditional orchestra like they usually are, but by African drums, guitars, Selwyn Junior School Choir, and of course Fanshawe's own recordings. It was musical director Stephen Reed's last concert directing the choir, and he was pleased it was a bit different.
It's very unusual. I mean, most of our concerts, we usually have a classical orchestra, organ, things like that, whereas here you've got a rock band, a lot of percussion, and obviously the live tapes. There's a lot of disparate elements, and a lot of different things to pull together, but really it all slots in. It's so well written and so clearly put together, and David's given such good leadership through it that it all sort of slots into place like a jigsaw.
The choir were also accompanied by soprano Judith Gardner-Jones, whose CV includes playing the West End stage, singing in an opera broadcast by the BBC, and even performing on a film soundtrack. Despite this impressive list, she told me this performance was very special.
It's completely different. It's a real breath of fresh air musically for me. Lots of new challenges. Learning to work with a more electronic base of singing, because most of what I do is acoustic. So that's always a challenge when you've got chaps with wires, and especially with how many percussionists there are today. It just completely different sound balance to what I'm used to. Fantastic though, very energising.